welcome back to the Cracking FAANG YouTube channel. Today we're going to be solving Leetcode problem 2158, amount of new area painted every day. Before we get into the video, you guys know the drill, please subscribe to the channel. Alright, there is a long and thin painting that can be represented by a number line. You are given a zero-indexed 2D integer array paint of length n, where paint of I equals start of I, end of I, which means that on the ith day, you need to paint the area between start I and end I. Painting the same area multiple times will create an uneven painting, so you only want to paint each area of the painting at most once. Return an integer array work log of length n, where work log of I is the amount of new area that you painted on the ith day. Alright, let's look at an example. So we're given the array 1, 4, 4, 7, 5, 8. So as you can see, on the first day, we want to paint between 1 and 4, right? This is this red box here. On the second day, we paint from 4 to 7. So we start at 4 where we left last time, and we go to 7. And then it asks us to paint from 5 to 8. But notice that from 5, you can't see that. Let me just select a different color here. Where is green? Okay, so from 5 to 8 is this area here, but this area that we see here has already been painted by the previous day, so we don't want to repaint it, right? It tells us that we want to paint each area at most once, so we can't repaint that, so we can only go from 7 to 8, which means on that day we only painted, one area, right? So our final solution would be on the first day we painted from 1 to 4, so that's, this is a gap of 1, this is a gap of 1, that's a gap of 1. So on the first day we painted 3. On the second day we painted from 4 to 5, 5 to 6, and then 6 to 7, so that's another 3. And then on the last day, remember that we couldn't paint from 5 to 8 because we've already done it. So we just paint from 7 to 8 because that's the area that's kind of unique. So our final solution would be 3, 3, 1. So looking at this question, it looks really easy, right? To figure it out kind of on paper, you could do this in your head, no problem. But actually coding this up is a lot more complicated than you think. Now, you guys know on this channel, we don't really go in for these super complex, crazy solutions. If you look at kind of the Leetcode page for this, there are some solutions around doing this with like red-black trees or segment trees, which is like way overkill. Honestly, I prefer much simpler and more straightforward, easy to understand solutions. So if you want the most optimal solution, I don't know, go look for the red-black solution, but honestly, I looked at it and my head exploded. I have no idea how the hell it works, nor do I want to bother with that stuff because it's just really overkill. So we're going to do a much easier solution, and I'll walk you through it in a second. So I told you that there is a very straightforward and easy to understand solution to this problem. And we're actually just going to use simple data structures that you guys all understand. And the data structure that we're going to use today is just going to be a dictionary. So we're going to have a dictionary which keeps track of area that we've painted. And by area that we've painted, I mean we're going to have key value pairs which map some start point to some end point. And the start point is going to represent an area where we started to paint, and we're going to represent end with the area that we ended painting. All right, so we have this dictionary here. And I will put it, oops, I lost my pen. We're going to put it here, right? So this is going to be our big dictionary. And let's go through the example. So what are we going to do? We're going to go over each pair. And, first it's going to be 1 and 4, right? And we need to keep track of the amount of work we've done. So we'll say W equals 0 because we haven't painted anything yet. So what we're going to do is we are going to have a while loop, which says that while start is less than end, we're basically going to populate our dictionary, and you'll see why we do that. So is 1 less than 4? It is. So now what we want to do is we want to check, have we painted this start before? If we have, we'll do something, but in our case right now, our dictionary is empty, so we haven't painted anything. So we're going to put that we're going to paint from 1 to 4 into our dictionary, and you'll see why we do this in a second. Then we're going to move our start up by 1, and it's now going to become 2. And we've obviously painted one piece of area, so we're going to move work by 1, right? So now we have 2 and 4, so 2 is our start and 4 is our end. So we now need to basically go through the process again. So 2 is less than 4, so we do it again. Is 2 in our dictionary here? No. So we're going to say that we've also painted from 2 to 4. And we're going to go through the process again. So now work is going to get increased by 1. And our start is going to get increased by 1. So now it's a 3. So 3 is still less than 4. So we say 3 is, we've painted from 3 to 4. And now we can increase our work again. And we can increase our start again. So now 4 equals 4. So our while loop would break because its while start is strictly less than end. So now we've done painted this area. And now this dictionary represents all of the areas that we've painted for all the possible starts for that possible end. And you'll see why this is necessary when we actually get an overlap. So we've now calculated the work for this first piece. So this one took 3. Now we move on to the second one because we've exhausted this 1 to 4. So let's kind of get rid of this. So now work is going to be 0 again because we're starting a new piece of work. And now we have our start is going to be equal to 4, and our end is going to equal to 7. So we're going to go through the same process. Have we already painted something starting at 4? We haven't, so we want to put that we've painted from 4 to 7 in here. Cool. We're going to increase our work by 1. We're going to increase our start by 1, and now we're going to go through it again. Have we already painted something starting at 5? We haven't, so we're going to put that we painted from 5 to 7. And that means, okay, so we increase our work again, and we increase our start again. We're going to check, okay, have we painted anything from 6? Obviously, no, there's no key for 6. So we're going to say we've also painted from 6 to 7. And again, we increase our start and our work. So now 7 equals 7. So again, we break here because we've now painted this entire area. So this is another 3. Now we're done. Okay, so now we get to the part where we start getting clashes. This 5 to 8, right? So we have start equals 5 and end equals 8. Okay, so check this. Now we go through the loop again because 5 is less than 8, and we're going to reset our work to 0. Okay, have we already painted something from 5? Yes, look, we've painted from 5 to 7, which means that, you know, there's no point of us, we can't repaint this area. So what we can do now is instead of increasing our work and increasing our start by 1, we know that we've already painted up to 7. So we can now make our start to be the 7 because we know that we've already painted that entire area, and we can go through the process again. Now our start is 7. So have we painted anything starting at 7? We haven't. So you guys know the drill. We put 7, painted until 8, and then we increase the work by 1, and then this becomes 8, and now 8 equals 8. So this one breaks, and then we've painted this one area. So that's the reason that we increment it each time. So we can basically catch all possible paints. It seems a little bit messy, and then you're gonna have to basically create all of these pairs, but this is the simplest way to do it. And you can see that once we get the clash, we will have that area represented in here, and we can go straight from whatever the start is to wherever it ended, and then keep going from there. And then we would just repeat this process until we, you know, get to a point where either we have a new fresh area or there is actually no fresh area because the entire interval provided to us has already been painted. So that's how you want to do it. It's super simple. This is probably 10 lines of code and a lot easier to understand than, you know, the other solutions out there. So let's go to the code editor, code this up formally, and you can see it. All right, we're in the code editor, and let's type this up. And we're gonna make a slight adjustment here because I realized that we can optimize my solution a bit. And by optimize my solution, I mean I tried to submit my solution and it turns out I got time limit exceeded, so I had to optimize it so it actually gets submitted. Anyway, so let us define the data structures we're gonna need here. So obviously we return a list of integers here. So let's define our result, empty list. And we need to keep track of a dictionary of where we've painted. So we're simply gonna say painted, and this is gonna be an empty dictionary. Now, we need to go through all of the start and end pairs that were given in paint. So we're gonna say for start and in paint. What we're gonna do is we need to keep track of the amount of work we've done. So we're gonna set that equal to 0. And now we're gonna say while start is less than end. What we need to do is handle the two cases. The case where we've already painted something starting at this point, which means that we cannot repaint it and we have to move our, start pointer up, or the case where we haven't seen this area before and we can paint it. So we're going to say if start in painted, then what we want to do is we want to figure out where we've already painted to. So the previous end where we've already painted to will be whatever painted of start is, right? Because that's where we started painting and this is where we ended. Because remember, the value is the actual end point of where we start. So now what we want to do is we want to set our new area that we're going to be painting from this start is going to equal the maximum of wherever we've already painted to and whatever our new endpoint is. Because obviously, right, if we've already painted from 4 to 7 and now we get asked to paint from 4 to 9, then we would just update that we've painted from 4 to 9. And there we go. That's why we take the maximum of whatever the two new endpoints are for when we have a same start point. Makes sense, right? So that is the painted start. Now we need to figure out what to actually set our start to. So the start is going to equal to wherever we previously ended. And the reason we do that is because we just need to move the start up accordingly. So we want to move it to where we previously painted before, and then we can continue our loop there. Otherwise, if we haven't seen this start in painted, we need to reflect that in our dictionary. So we're going to say painted of start is going to equal to whatever the end is, and start gets moved up by 1, work gets increased by 1, and then we're good to go. So when the while loop breaks, we need to just add whatever our current work is to the result. So we're going to say res.append work, and then at the very end, once we finish our entire paint here, all we need to do is simply return our result. Just going to make sure I didn't make any syntax mistakes, and we're good to go. Okay, so let's submit this, and we see that once Leetcode accepts it. All right, cool. It works. So what is the time and space complexity for this algorithm? Well, let's think about the time complexity. What are we doing here? Well, we're going through paint, right? So this portion is going to be big O of n, because we need to go through every element of paint once, right? So that's going to be big O of n. But inside this loop, we also have this nested loop, which could potentially end up, calculating all of the distinct pairs of, start and endpoint pairs that we can make from within, this start and end combination that we're given. So because of that, it's going to be also big O of n, this internal loop, because we could end up kind of going to every pair. Obviously, we do have a little bit of an optimization once we've seen a pair before, but it's still going to depend on basically the number of pairs that we have inside of paint. So it's just going to be big O of n. So this time complexity is going to be big O of n squared. And similar for the space complexity, it's going to be big O of n squared, because we basically have to store all of the painted start and end points. And because we can have, basically every single combination like within the thing, right? So we went from 1 to 8. So we could store for, 1 and 8, 2 and 8, 3 and 8, 4 and 8, and, then it'd be like 2 and 3, 2 and 4, and basically all the possible like combinations we could possibly make, which is going to be dependent on basically the size of our kind of input here. So the time is going to be big O of n squared, and the space is going to be big O of n squared. Like I said, this isn't the most optimal algorithm for this. I believe you can get an n log n solution if you use like a red-black tree or a prefix tree, but I think that's absolute overkill, and the chances of you actually implementing that data structure properly and then solving the question is very low. And I think it's much easier to go with something that you actually understand how it works, you can explain it, and be totally solid in it, then go with a data structure that you don't really know, don't understand that well, and you're going to make a mistake. Even if you have the most optimal solution, but you make a mistake implementing it, or you can't explain why it works, you're going to not pass, versus someone who puts up, a slightly less efficient solution, but understands how the algorithm works, can walk you through it step by step, explain it concisely, you're going to get a much better chance. Of course, if your interviewer only wants the red black tree and you don't have it, then, they're kind of an asshole for that. But some interviewers are like that, but most of them are pretty understanding that, these algorithms are super esoteric. Not many people are going to know them, and really, as long as they can come up with a solution, communicate it clearly, that's more than enough for them. So I'm going to stop rambling there. That's how you solve this question. Again, it's a hard one. It's a Google question. What do you expect? They like to ask this kind of crap. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel. I'll be solving a lot more Google questions. You guys seem to always ask for Google questions, so I will be pulling my hair out trying to come up with solutions for this stuff. And otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to stop rambling here, so have a nice day.